Howdy there, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Today I will be taking a look at the NECA Toys Alien vs. Predator 1994 arcade game, Chrysalis Alien. Out of the three figures in this wave, the three being obviously Chrysalis Alien, the Arachnoid, and Razor Claws, I was actually looking forward to this guy the most. He looked the most unique, and the dome. I mean, if you guys played the game, you'll know that this guy has just a crazy looking dome. It's basically a giant shield. So it was the most appealing to me. It's not to say that the others aren't as good. I definitely like them. They're pretty sweet. QC issues, they got QC issues. However, luckily, my copy of Chrysalis here didn't have any. Yes, I am as surprised as you fellers are, but it is occasional when NECA actually gives you a well-designed product. However, and I say however, doesn't mean your copy will be good. And as you guys know, when I review figures, I don't suck up to NECA, and I never will, and I will never suck up to any company. If this figure is shit, I will tell you it's shit. However, in regard to my copy here, right in front of you, it's pretty damn good. So, and it uses the AVP Alien mold that I always just loved, and I'll be making comparisons later in the video, but for now, I'm going to shut up and let's get into the review. Alrighty, so the packaging. I mean, if you bought the other Predators from the series, the arcade Predators, you pretty much know what to expect. We get a really nice toy photography picture here of the Chrysalis Alien. We get a nice arcade background, which I actually use now for my shelves. I'll show that in a later video. These are actually larger than the Predator ones, actually, because I guess it's a little bit bigger of a box. The side just shows the figure, again, looking really, really nice. And here's kind of the theme for all the boxes. So you got the Predator back there, and the little alien icon, and the back, obviously, it shows the figure. Let me go ahead and zoom in there. Kind of in an awkward pose, got the background with the health bar and stuff. And then here are the other figures in the wave. Really, all I need now are Dutch and Lynn, but they haven't come out in Targets yet, but hopefully I'll get it soon. And there's a biography, so you can read and pause that if you would like. And I do have nitpickers out there, so here is the top and the bottom with the barcode if you need that for whatever reason. And here is Chrysalis Alien out of the packaging. Like I mentioned in the intro, and I'm going to do a quick 360, hope he doesn't fall on me. He usually doesn't. Occasionally that'll happen, but mine has decent joints. Not the best, but it's fine. But anyway, what I was saying in the intro is I really like the mold. And I think a lot of Alien Predator collectors can agree with me. Those AVP molds from back in the day, used for like Grid Alien mainly, were really, really nice. I mean, they're obviously a completely different design than for like Warriors from the original or Big Chap, but they're so different. And the reason I prefer these molds is just because they're so easy to pose. No matter what you do, you can put it in a dummy pose if you want, and it'll still look good. So I'm really, really glad that they used it for this figure here. It definitely suits him. He is supposed to be the bigger xenomorph out of most of them in the game, so I think it definitely suits him well. But I'm gonna stop rambling and let's just take a closer look. Alrighty, so let us start with the head sculpt. I do have him at an angle just because the dome, the head is just so long, especially compared to other aliens, that I kind of want to show it off from the side. Kind of like this. I mean, you can tell that it is really impressive. And he kind of looks funny when you look at him like this. He's funny looking. But as you can tell, the dome is crazy. It really reminds me of just like a giant bone shield. I really like the color that they used for it, different shades of beige and a little tint of white in there as well. Even kind of like a light brown running across the the spine. I guess you can call it the spine of the dome. It's kind of weird looking, but a lot of detail went into this. I mean, you can tell there are a lot of sculpting details, a lot of paint work. Shading is pretty damn awesome. That kind of looks like a face. I just realized that. But yeah, it's really nice looking. I'm definitely happy with what they did with it. Here's the mouth. This part is actually kind of hollow. There isn't teeth on the side, so it's a little different than your typical alien, and obviously the inner mouth can come out right there. And luckily this hasn't popped out for me. It's in there pretty well. I don't know if I can say the same for the others, cough cough arachnoid. However, this is okay so far. I don't know what will happen in the future, but the teeth, they are a nice white. The jaw is a tiny bit crooked. Nothing really you can do about that, honestly. I mean, I guess you can use some heat to kind of put it back in place, but basically all the alien figures are like that for me. Even the quarter scale stuff, especially the quarter scale stuff. So yeah, and there's some more detail under the dome. You can tell there are different shades of blue. I really like all the shading they put in between these bone groups. I'm going to call them bone groups. And it kind of has that traditional AVP alien warrior design under the dome, trying to get it to focus, but it looks really nice. Kind of like the entire head kind of reminds me of like a sea creature or something. It's odd, and you can tell just how big it is compared to the actual figure. I mean, if you would put the head parallel to the body, it would be at least half the body's size, which is absolutely insane. And I also do like how it kind of curves down almost like a cape towards the back, so it kind of gives it some charm. Like I mentioned, you're going to recognize this mold. Obviously it's very familiar to people, and it's really good. I consider this the bodybuilder mold just because he's so bulky and giant. But anyway, yeah, again, that theme of blue kind of runs throughout the body. You got a little bit of black mixed in throughout the body, tints of it kind of mixed in with some blue. And obviously the main color of the figure is this almost sky blue color, kind of sprinkled on. You can even see some black bits throughout it, making it look almost frosty in a sense, which I definitely dig. And just checking out all the detail, it is so great. You got all these coils and tubes and everything. It has some wonderful detail. Unlike a lot of aliens, this one actually doesn't come with those giant cylinders coming out of its back. Rather, you get a double spine in a sense, which is so freaking cool looking. They're right here. It's kind of hard to see because the figure likes to blend in with itself, but they actually kind of match the theme of the dome, which is pretty cool. And they kind of merge onto these shoulder pieces that we usually see with different kinds of aliens, mainly the big chap alien. So I definitely dig that. And obviously you got the central spine there in the middle, and they even put some paint work there and the coils and everything in his abdomen area, and it's just wonderful detail. Another thing that you should watch out, and I'll get into this more when I review Chrysalis, or I'm sorry, when I review Arachnoid, but the tail. It almost is separating with me. I'm trying to get that into focus for y'all. You can tell right there it's obviously not pushed in all the way. Long story short, my Arachnoid's tail at the base of it eventually popped off, so I had to super glue it back in place. I'm trusting this won't happen because it does feel secure. It's not even wiggling, but over time, as I pose it, I'm assuming it will pop off. So I just wanted to give a heads up there. And as for the tail, it's fully posable. Bendy wire pretty much runs throughout all of it. There we go. Ah, that's what we got. Yeah, it was upside down, but anyway, it still separates there a little bit for me, so just a heads up. But anyway, yeah, the top kind of continues that sky blue, Pretty nice. And then here at the end of the tail, it is very pliable. There's no bendy wire in there. Pretty much stops right here. And you got some nice gray detail and obviously the beige spear-like tip. So it's pretty cool. Moving down on the figure, the legs continue that sky blue tint. Wonderful shading, wonderful detail all throughout. It looks great. So detailed. And moving down here on the legs, get a little bit skinny. This is kind of a little stressful, just because obviously the figure is a bit top heavy with this giant dome and these arms, which I'll get into in a minute. And the calves here, I don't even know what this bone is called, I forgot, but they are a little bit bendy. Some of my old AVP figures suffered from this. Eventually over time they kind of bent because of the heavy weight of the figure. So just watch out for that. And you got the feet here. Again, for the nails or the claws, they kind of use that beige, which I like. And it does have peg holes and shading and stuff on the bottom, which is pretty cool. The arms are also pretty neat. Obviously very AVP-like, but these are new sculpts, the forearm guards right there, matching the dome colors. Pretty good looking. Got a like a reveal of the coiled underarm right there. And the hands, I think, are pretty much a reuse, but I'll double check that later. So, as you can tell, this guy has a ton of detail. He is just super awesome. Just watch out. The tail might eventually pop off like it did for Arachnoid, and under the figure's weight, the legs might bend a little bit. So I just wanted to give those warnings because, you know, NECA aliens, I consider their quality control and their manufacturing even worse than Predators, believe it or not, and the Predators can be pretty bad. So I'm just doing what I'm doing, people, giving you a heads up. But anyway, he doesn't come with any accessories, so I'm gonna just jump into some size comparison. Alrighty, so I got my tape measure here, and I kind of put him as straight as he can be. So he is just at about 9 inches. The very tip of the dome is basically hitting that 9-inch mark. But anyway, I want to show him off with his fellow aliens in the wave. I hope they won't fall on me. Right here we do have Razor Claws, who doesn't want to stand. And of course, I know he's not in the pose he should be. I put him like this because of his tail. Arachnoid. He's usually kind of like in a dog form, but I'm letting him rest like that because of the tail, which can be problematic. Just a heads up. If you're even more curious, I got Mad Predator right here. Man, these are looking so awesome. I haven't put them together yet. And I got Warrior right there. And last but not least, maybe least because his joints suck, Hunter. Put him on this side right here. So, whoa! You see what I mean. Yeah. Oh, walk, you motherf... God damn it. Okay. He's never fallen on me. It's the first time he's pulling this shit. Why, Mad Predator? You were the good one. You were the good one, sir. I blame this on you, but anyway, obviously these guys look awesome together, but I'm going to bring in some of those AVP molds to just compare it to this one here, so be back in a minute. Okay, so I want to bring in some that were a little different than the last review, so I just have a standard alien right here from AVP, and I actually brought the Sewer Alien, the Comic-Con exclusive, because they all share the same mold. So you can tell, obviously, the majority are the same. The legs, for example, are pretty much the same. Same with the bodies here, or the top part, I mean, with those shoulder pieces. And looks like the top part of the arms are a little bit different on this guy here in the center, but the hands seem to be the same as well. Obviously the feet are a tiny bit different, and the domes. And also obviously the backpacks, I don't even know why I would call them backpacks, but he doesn't have those like giant tubes like this one. So he's different enough. Like I mentioned, I'm really glad they used this mold. It's one of my favorites. I play with these aliens the most. Just, again, so easy to pose. I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, but anyway, I'm going to start nerding out and give you my final thoughts. But, whoa, Jimmy. Don't get ahead of yourself. We got Articulation. And here he is next to my alpaca. Okay, so Articulation. He does have a joint right here, which doesn't give it a ton of mobility. Pretty much the only thing you can do is twist it a little bit, and maybe a tiny bit side to side, but I'm glad it's there. It just scared the hell out of me when I saw this part moving. Looked like it split on me, but I was happy to see that that wasn't the case. Obviously the mouth can go up and down and pull the inner mouth out, and it can move up and down and a little bit side to side, though I don't recommend that because that is how you break these stupid things. Get it back in there. At the base of the neck, it can resist you a little bit at first, but it'll go down pretty much that much up, and it'll kind of go side to side, and it will obviously twist around. So it going down, it fought me a little bit. I really don't want to keep trying, and I don't want to break it, but the joint's there, so you can technically do it. Anyway, the arms can go the full 360, and they can go out and in. He doesn't have an upper bicep rotation, but he does have a rotation right above the elbow, which again can go 360, and a double jointed elbow, which again, be careful, just be wary, you never know. Mine's okay, but yours might not be. And it can also rotate at the top of the forearm. The hands can rotate as well as go out and in, and he does have articulation at the fingers, go out and in. So there you go. At the upper diaphragm here, or whatever the hell you want to call it, it's okay. I mean, it can't go far too much. It can go back side to side and can wobble. So not the most articulation, but it's fine. Over here, again, I really like this mold. Legs can go forward that much. They can technically do a 360, though I really don't recommend it. He can't do the splits, but luckily these pieces up here are pliable enough for you to do something, and they can't rotate, which is nice. Double jointed knee, again, be very careful, but there you go. And it can rotate at the top of the knee. The feet here are on ball joints, so they can do what you would expect a ball joint to do. Yeah. So go out and in, side to side, rotate, all that. And the feet can go forward and back. So there you go. And obviously the tail can bend all over the place and turn here. So there you go. Though, again, not fully recommended to turn the tail because Arachnoid failed me. You bastard. Alrighty, so my final thoughts. Look, you guys know NECA by now, and something just fell in the background, probably caused a domino effect, so fuck me. Anyway, you guys know NECA. It can go anyway. Just because my copy seems to be okay doesn't mean yours will be. Cough cough, Arachnoid. And partially Razor Claws, because he definitely has his issues. I think there's a joint on him that I couldn't even bend, even with hot water. It's just, it'll snap. But anyway, we're not reviewing him, are we? No, we're reviewing this guy who, honestly, is the best out of the way because of that mold. It is just so good. I mean, typically with this mold, I don't really have QC issues. And I think the reason that a lot of folks out there are having problems with, for example, Razor Claws is because of the Big Chap mold, which again is a fantastic mold, but it suffers from QC a lot. Whether it's too loose joints or the joints won't bend. I have several figures with that Big Chap body mold, and most of them have problems. But again, this AVP mold doesn't seem to usually have issues. So I recommend this figure, just be cautious. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, leave a comment down below if you want to regarding a dish figure. If you like it, if you hate it, if you'll pick it up, or if you'll wait for a sale. I've never heard of NECA on sale, unless, you know, you got some Target coupons or whatever, but I recommend it. It's definitely a cool figure, and if you played the game, you'll probably like this figure. And if you have all the other Predators, this will just complement the shelf. Recommended. Go check out the Sanctuary on Facebook as well as YouTube. Do a toy show every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be in this coming week. So come join us. We'll talk comics, toys, pop culture, everything and anything. So come by. And as always, people, have a good morning, evening, midday, whatever, and take care.